Hello, welcome to Beyond the Rank, a podcast where we talk to players and look beyond the rank and see who they are as people to become better community members and to become better people in general. We talk to tourney players and many other players, and today we're going to be talking to Hydrole, a really awesome tournament player. Thank you. Alrighty. Um, okay, I guess I will start asking questions. But like first, Hydrole, how was the day today?
Yeah, well, asking about my day, that's been pretty good. Kind of just got up, had a test today. I actually like literally just got employed. So I start
Right
next
now?
week. That's
Nice.
pretty awesome. But having a good time, chilling, trying to wring out the joy from my summer before I start locking in again.
That's so real.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, what about you guys before we start talking? How have you guys been doing?
I'm tired, bro. And it's like
Like,
funny because I'm waking up at like 2 p.m., but I'm still tired and
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I'm.
okay.
I get
Yeah,
you.
that happens.
I've been trying to
uh,
fix my life, but I just went down this stupid rabbit hole of like 100%ing Steam games, and so now I'm just like throwing my life back off track. Like the goal for summer is to
Happens.
get my like eating and sleeping and all those habits kind of like back before the next term, and like it looks like it's
Mm,
a procrastination thing, but we all have
GG.
struggles.
Yeah, I had to wake up and then Cyrene play at 8 stars full frame one.
Happens.
Nice.
I. Oops.
it
Oops.
was.
That's so
I'm
funny.
like torturing Shade because we should have played it 2 days ago, but we did not play it
But
2 days ago.
Yeah, Shade, is it
yeah, we
like
had to like reschedule last second like
Like,
twice.
oopsie.
what time is it for you, Shade? Like right now?
It is 10 a.m.
Oh shit.
Oh, what the hell?
A Korea buff, I guess.
Korea buff.
Korea buff.
Are you there
Yep.
with the air purifier, like snorting it to like keep
Yes,
allergy
man.
symptoms down? Yeah,
Oh.
Mm.
yeah, I feel that.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I took this like I was like randomly browsing the internet, and then I got this like weird tip off that like the air quality in South Korea is like kind of shit, and that like people are using air purifiers to like. There was a story about this guy who like just constantly sick when he was visiting Korea,
Oh.
and he was just like could not stop like get rid of his cold symptoms. And then he realized that like everybody else had air purifiers in their room, and he just bought one, and they went away like instantly. And I was like, oh, I gotta tell Shade this.
Wait, that's nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy.
No. No. That's what happens. You live in a big city, smog
Oh
everywhere.
yeah, I
What can you
bet.
say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't I like I swear. Okay, well, to be fair, like South Korea is very congested, I think.
I think it depends on the regulations
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like how strictly they're enforced.
Yeah.
This is very true. All right. I guess okay, well, Hydro,
Yes.
how do you know me actually? I like how do you think of me and I'll tell you how I like figured out, you know. How did the connection happen, you know?
That honestly, that's something I have not thought of. I actually don't know. I kind of have to
Yeah.
figure out what our first interaction is first of all.
No, I
I
would
actually
agree.
I
Wanna
don't
go way
I
back?
don't even remember our first interaction. It probably was 5 USC related. It was probably 5 digit tourney
Uh,
related.
Agreed. No, it was actually probably 5 USC calming. That
It
makes a
was
lot
probably
of sense.
calming. Yeah, because we
Yeah.
both calmed grands. We did both
Mhm.
do that. So,
Okay, yeah.
is
And then we also had the other interaction in Copper server, and I think that's what probably.
more or less, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's probably what it is. Okay, I guess like what are you known for, Hydrol? This is
Think what I'm known for, one of two things. If you play tournaments, you know me as a 5K player. I stuck around the 5-digit scene for about 2 years. ranked up after 5 USC 2 back in 2023. I've been hovering 5K and 4-digit for the past 2 years. Otherwise, if you don't really play tournaments, you probably don't know me, but you've at least heard of the sort of permazoomer group that plays Roblox all the time, like the permazoomer group of Osu people who play Roblox all the time. Unfortunately, I'm sort of the catalyst of that.
Oop.
Yeah, I
Okay,
run.
yeah. No, I'm really interested. How did Gleek the Facility happen? Like what?
I think okay, well, Glee the Facility, I think as the name implies, it was originally a server solely meant for the Roblox game Flee the Facility because there was a point about it's been a year and a half now. So it's been about almost about a year and a half ago we started playing a lot of Flee the Facility. I don't even know why. It kind of just happened, right?
Yeah.
It just happens. And so from that, I just we figured at some point, hey, let's make a server. And from there, it was kind of like, or from there, it was more, oh, people want to play Fleet, let's drop them in. And it sort of just evolved from there. It kind of grew
Gotcha.
into this sort of big-ish server, at least as big as you can get without being a straight public server.
Yeah. No,
But
understandable. I think that like for me, like I've met so many people from Gleek the Facility. There's so many like, so many tournament faces, and I'm like struggling to see where the connection is because it's like supposed to be a Flee the Facility server,
right.
but there's so many OC players. And I think that's just because like, you're the owner and like a
I
lot of
mean,
your friends and people join.
yeah, well, I mean, when your main sort of OC group is in the tourney scene, it kind of makes sense that everyone, or at least most of the people, are in the tourney scene.
Yeah, I see that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like most of the
Alrighty.
people that I like talk to are sort of like tournament people or like have at least tried one tournament. And
hmm
like I don't know,
Yep.
I don't know if you guys know about like the Canada 5WC server, but it's like pretty tight knit. Like
Yep.
there's a lot of people that are like chillers and we all know who each other are and like I don't know, tourney servers like they're like I think there's like something else like holding, you know, those people together other than just OSU. It's like OSU tournaments. And like that just makes for a
Yeah.
closer community. It's nice.
For sure. Yeah. No,
Yep.
I'd agree.
Shout out to
Yeah.
USA V3.
Shout
Yeah.
out to
True.
USA V3.
So
Yeah.
what a great server. Um.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of like player are you? Like, what do you feel like you spec into?
Oh, as a player, I'd say as a player, I spec the most I into double time, but double time and alt. I think as a 5-digit and 5K player, what I'm primarily known for is the fact that I don't exactly have a weakness, but my main thing is that I am incredibly good at DT and alt, but otherwise I don't really have any actual weaknesses. I can sort of play everything that's not like an extreme version of a skill set.
Hmm.
More like
Um,
I guess a jack of all trades.
so what is your like Ashton Hall routine for getting that good at like DT,
And
you
all
know?
racing.
For getting that good at DT. Okay, well here's the thing. There was a time when, back when I was a little baby, I was like 11 years old playing Osu as like a, like 50K. I could not aim at all. Like we're talking like 6-digit, so and so. I couldn't aim. And so I just started playing DT. Honestly, it's more of a getting acclimated to it. There's no quote unquote routine like you would any other skill set, at least for DT, because DT is obviously such a big, it's such a diverse mod. It's kind of like a no mod but rate edited.
Hmm.
So,
Right.
but otherwise, I just kept playing instead of playing like insane diffs and like like there's a point where my actual nomad aim only really extended up to like high 4-star, low 5-star, but I could put DT on. I could put DT on and I could play up to like 5.7 stars,
Mhm.
So it really just depends on what you're acclimating yourself to. And honestly, the same mentality goes for any skill set, any mod, anything that requires you to push, like reading, like tapping. It's obviously there are routines you can use, but the more acclimated you get yourself, that's really all there is to it.
So
Right.
would you say that's true for like every skill set? Because like you're, as from what I'm getting, you're like very well rounded. So like are there any skill sets that you kind of like had trouble picking up? And like, was there any sort of deviation from that sort of, hey, just play more of this, get more acclimated to this type of thing? Was there like anything else that you had to kind of try if that didn't quite work out for you?
Honestly, yeah. The one thing that I've always struggled with is maintaining a solid tapping technique.
Hmm.
That's been for a multitude of reasons. Some of them physical, some of them technical. And so, um, just playing more sometimes, right?
Hmm.
I just said, usually you want to get acclimated more, but when it's come to tapping, it's kind of been the opposite route where oftentimes I accidentally start entrenching myself in really bad technique.
Hmm.
And so I've had to play around a lot, right? My stamina has fluctuated over the past few years. I can go from being really good at 225 to barely tapping 180. So I think that's sort of my one Achilles heel in terms of that get used to it more skill set.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah, I
that.
get that.
But you still found a way around it, right? Like in a way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've found ways around it. Sometimes it has to be through pure willpower. Other times, I find the technique that works, but it's kind of like what happened to Secret Box where he kind of forgot how to play tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like that, but for my tapping technique, it's never really a consistent thing. So you kind of just have to get used to it as it goes along.
Shade, that kind
Hmm.
of sounds like what happened to you
But
a little bit.
that's definitely an issue that I have too. So I'll probably like be talking more about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting, dude. Yeah, like wow, that's amazing. Um,
Yeah.
so like okay, I am like kind of interested because I know like you're a pretty busy person. You have a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So like in tournaments itself,
Mhm.
what is your current goals? Because for right now, it feels like you're signing up to tournaments and just hoping to win like 5K tournaments. But like, what is the ultimate goal? Is there any ultimate goal? Stuff like that.
My ultimate goals, ultimate, I think of I guess OWC. In terms of more sort of concrete reach goals, 4WC, USC for sure. I think every year I sort of inch closer and closer to that bar. I think this year in particular has been sort of the closest I've ever been to hitting both goals, and it would be pretty awesome for the next year or for 2026 if I can come up and actually like grab the bar, get on those rosters. It would be pretty awesome.
For sure. No, you were really close to 4WC. I will say that. Um,
Nah,
and
I think no, not as close as you think I am. I mean, top 15 in tryouts was pretty good, but it's not really. I think it's just a matter of no BWS, so a lot of the players who don't get skill capped or not don't get skill capped, but a lot of the players whose skill cap reaches way above, just they're still in range, so you can't really do anything about that, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I think 4WC will definitely be a lot easier, but like also 4WC will be a lot like weaker as a tournament itself, I think.
It it depends on if they implement BWS. I I get the idea of not doing BWS because you want the best that 4 digit has to offer. You want to prove, hey, these guys punch up to the same level as 3 digit and such. But at the same time, right, when it's kind of hard to balance between that showing off skill and then letting people who are fresh from 5-digit who should be top 500 play, right? Is what it is.
Gotcha. And I mean, like, okay, I guess this is a question that like I kind of want to ask because like this is what happened to me, and like maybe something similar, you felt when I like, you know, you didn't make 5WC. I honestly like felt really bad about my own OSU performance, and like in general like felt really bad about myself like in an OSU way. Do you ever feel like that? And if you do, how do you like get past that?
Honestly, this is actually a really great question. I love that this came up. So one of the biggest issues I've personally had with my OC journey is that idea of right, of missing out, of not making it, of trying to prove to yourself that you're something. And I think, right, for all the successes you see, there's a whole lot of what ifs and tragedies that happen, and I take those very hard, as it's just a thing that comes from my background, and learning to deal with it has personally been one of the hardest, but one of the best things I could have asked for.
Absolutely.
But in terms of actually handling that, I think it has to come down to the way you frame things. Right? There's actually, I guess, to get a little bit on the psychology side, there's this effect where when you get second place, right, you are less satisfied than the third place, right? Because when you're
Yeah.
second, you're not looking at how high you are. You're looking at what's directly above you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So when you sort of try to frame it differently, and you start to think of it more like the person who, in this theoretical third place, who's going, wow, I made it this far, I made it this far, instead of, wow, I was so close, I could have been there, but I wasn't. That's how things sort of, start to change the narrative. It's a thing that I still struggle with, but it's, something that I'm learning to get through.
So do you
So yeah.
do you have any sort of like mental kind of like tool or like trick where you're like, hey, you know what? I'm framing this the wrong way. Let me like try and think about things in a way that's more productive. Is that like kind of how you would approach it?
That's how I try to approach it. I
Uh-huh.
put try in very big bold letters because honestly,
You're still figuring it out?
I often miss the mark. I often,
Hey,
I'm a very impulsive person, but
that's the key. Like just keep experimenting, find something that works for you, and then eventually you'll get it. I think like if you keep experimenting and you keep having that spirit of like wanting to improve, I think that's like the right track in itself, you know.
yeah, eventually, things come together, right?
I also want to ask sort
Yeah.
of a sort of converse question to that. Like
Mhm.
there's dealing with failure and that's one thing, but as well, do you find yourself kind of on the other side of that, like having immense pressure to perform coming in as somebody who like is normally very performant in tournament matches?
I mean, yeah, I think it's something that I've seen a lot on in a lot of 5K tournaments I've played recently. I think
Hmm.
I think they've kind of been built with the idea that I'm in for every map, I can put a score on for everything, and it is a hard ask. It's not.
Yeah.
It's pressuring. It's hard, and again, it all comes down to being able to actually manage it, right? It, yeah,
Uh,
it's not.
Absolutely.
It's a big ask in terms of time, in terms of actual like mental strain to have to go through like every map in a pool, even if I don't, even if I sight read part like pools in a match,
Mhm.
just having the idea of I have to be in there, it's definitely pressuring. Yeah.
Yeah, and like having
Uh,
to perform as well. Like you're like the DT guy, I guess, right? So like if they're like, "Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
Hydrole, get in here, you're playing DT." It's like if I drop under 500k, like it's cooked. Right? Like do you ever have that kind of like nerve and like you just play through it, I guess you're just so used to it or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does happen quite a bit. I do find that happening to me every now and then. Um
Just curious.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
what's your
yeah, Shade, sorry. You got that.
yeah, like adding on to that, what's kind of like your thoughts on the pressure of being like a perma lobby, like all-rounder like you are, or just being like a specialist on the team and having the pressure to perform on your like very like specific picks if you're on a team like that?
Okay. Well, kind of. Let's see. Let's frame it like this. I think good way to see it is that both situations I think change how you think of the team. If I call to Jerry Sigma Cup or D&B Enjoyers, where I'm sort of that perma lobby on the team. I feel like there is sort of that responsibility to maybe not just to perform, but to sort of be able to set the tone of what's going on, right? Because when you have that much weight in lobby, you also have a lot of weight outside the lobby, right? And
That's
so
true.
you kind of and so that and I think I sort of tend to try to naturally take on not a captain role mate necessarily, but maybe a more sort of like an anchor role. Try to maintain the mental, through having the attitude or motivation issues, sort of push through that because so that everyone else on the team can perform.
Mm-hmm.
And then as a specialist, I think I find a lot of the pressure is more in the lobby, um and so I end up putting I put more focus on filling that role. I think a good tournament where that happens would be probably Auction House 3. My role on that team was double time, was speed, was alt basically. So the stuff that I say I'm good at.
Sure.
I see. So I guess like that makes sense. Like as a specialist, it's like I need to do well on these maps, otherwise like I've just not done my job.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're an all-rounder, you can take a few losses here, and it's maybe the mentality is a bit robust, and then you can kind of like extend that out to your team a little bit more. That makes sense.
Yeah. But like at the same time though, you kind of have to set the pace early, right? If you start messing up early, it does not bode well for the rest of the match. And the so I think one thing there's that like setting the tone. I don't mean it just like as a mental guy, as a teammate, but actually as a player in the match, you kind of have to set that tone.
Yeah, I see it. Like the momentum is like so important.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
100%.
I do think
Yeah.
momentum is just such like an underrepresented thing in the tournament scene because like no one talks about it, but it's like literally so important.
Okay, can I take a
Um,
moment to say, like, when I'm watching OWC, like, I'm just like, come on, they can just lock in, they can just lock in. But, like, when I'm in the match, it's like, the doom just, like, spirals, like, if you're not doing well. And then, conversely, if you're doing well, it's like, I don't even care about performing because I've already proved to everybody watching that, like, I'm doing well. And it just carries, like, it just happens. It's so weird. Like, ugh.
yeah, I don't know, but like for me, it's interesting because I will perform, right? Like I'll perform like a good.
Yeah.
And like, 5 USC quals, I FC'd both Nomad 1 and Hard Rock 1. But then I
Mhm.
dropped the most stinker score on TT1 to ever exist. I literally FC'd it like 2 seconds before, and then I dropped 300k
Oh, I
in
feel
lobby.
that. Oh.
So, and then that's what sticks in my mind. It's not
Yep.
even like the double FC. It's the fact that, I just FC'd this map and then I just dropped 300k.
It's
And
all
I'm
about,
like,
yeah,
and
expectations.
it's like, yeah, it's expectations, but like, I played so well, like looking at it numerically, but like, I don't believe I played well. And like, I don't know. I guess like, do you kind of have that like thing, Hydrole, where like you just kind of feel like you played numerically well, but like it doesn't matter in a way?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the sort of thing I come back to with with right having the pressure on you, right? You can do numerically well, but sort of the expectation is that you are good, right? You are good at everything, and when that is placed on you, and you drop a stinker, you drop two stinkers, it is, of course, it all depends on how you can deal with it, but you can't, if I'm caught in just a bad mood, right, or caught in a bad situation, bad mood, it is incredibly draining for sure. Particularly last night, winner circle qualifiers. Oh god, that was not great. I did end up seating 24th, which is a particularly high performance considering the player base. But it still feels so much like a what if instead of right. I'm up
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah, it's one thing to like say, "Hey, I'm gonna reframe," but it's another thing to just like follow through with it. Like just doing it is like so hard, and I completely get
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. All right, I kind of wanted to ask a little bit about like your mentality and philosophy beyond tournaments because I think often like we talk about like tournaments and like how like in tournament performance is so important, but like also like the only real way you're gonna build up in tournament experience, I feel, and like to be able to like kind of play those maps well, and like build the baseline and the skill cap is to play in solo, right? So like, what is your mentality when you're playing in solo?
Uh, Kind of hard because often my plays are catered towards tournaments if I'm playing in solo. Like I'm either practicing or I'm pushing a skill set.
Mhm.
My mentality is kind of just to go along with it. I have a really bad habit of wanting to only submit good scores, so I retry spam a lot. I quit in the middle of maps, and so realistically, my mentality is literally just keep pushing. But
Yeah,
it's not the healthiest thing. And when I do like not have to play something for tournaments, I kind of like I kind of try to find some time to just chill and play Osu maps that are fine,
Mhm.
fun Osu maps. But otherwise,
gotcha.
yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, do you like get burnt out of the constant like improvement grind, or do you love it?
Oh no, burnout is 100% an issue that I faced as an Osu player, sort of like as an Osu player in real life. I think the question of burnout is always a question that I have to answer. It's always someone I've had to answer. Um, it's and there are times where I'm burnt out. I keep trying to push and ultimately nothing happens because you can't really, right, you're on shaky ground already. If you try to jump, you're not really gonna be able to make it anywhere.
Right.
And so I actually like to it actually brings me about something to think about. Um, Particularly the way like real life balance plays into Osu.
Mhm.
When it's a thing I've realized is that oftentimes the best we play is when our life is sort of like the most in order, when we're like doing our happiest, and it makes sense intuitively, right? Better mental, better ability to sort of frame things better, to look through.
Right.
But no, it's definitely something to look. It's definitely something that we maybe don't think about it too much, but it plays an immense role, I think, in any Osu player's sort of journey.
You're right. You're totally right. Like
Yeah,
there's
100%.
there's three things I like to, like make sure you get in order or like keep in order. It's like eating well, sleeping well, and then exercising regularly. And if like you
Yeah.
don't have any of those things, just like grind one until it's consistent, and then it will help you get like the other two. And like
Hmm.
with those three things, like you just feel a lot better. You have a lot more energy throughout the day, and like everything just feels like nicer, right? And like I totally feel it. Like
Yeah.
I've been on both sides of like all three of those things, and I can definitely say, yeah, like even for something like Osu, like it goes into every dimension of your life. just like passive buffs that you get, towards everything. So I can definitely feel what you're saying there.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
do. I do agree. Um, I guess how do you like when you look at yourself as a player, right? Are you like very harsh on yourself? Like, how do you like look at
Yes.
yourself as a player?
Um,
Okay.
and again, it's like Dragon said. Oftentimes, in video games, especially in Osu and maybe other rhythm games, but Osu particularly because of its nature, um, the way your real life is often does. It has a massive effect, and I've come to realize that. And so, I guess in my like sort of outside of the game, I'm a very academically uh oriented person. I go out of my way to get good grades. I want to achieve big things, and so I think sort of passive thing that came with that upbringing is a necessity to be very harsh on myself as a form of improvement. It's just a way that things are, or just a way that it's just an outcome of the way you're raised, and so that's reflected into my Osu perspective for a very long time. uh Again, the idea is always that I can play at my peak, so I should play at my peak. And
Mm.
obviously, that is not something that can happen. That's, it's not like you can do it once, you can do it always. Osu is just it's a very volatile game in that
Yeah,
regard. And
volatile's a great word for
Makes
it.
sense. Yeah,
yeah.
volatile is a great
Yeah.
word for it,
Yeah.
actually.
It-
Like, and I guess, okay, kind of to switch gears here, unless like you want to say anything else, Hydrole.
Yeah. I, I think I've said about as much as I could here, though. I would like to say that I think the time where I had the best stamina, best speed was the time where I started where I was like actually lifting for a bit. Unfortunately, I have not been lifting, which means I need to actually
Agreed.
lock back in.
Yeah, no, actually, I get that so much. We started like going to the gym like 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
but I haven't been going for the past 2 weeks.
You gotta keep each other going.
So it's like bad.
Yeah.
You got
Oh,
Oh,
Wait, what?
I don't know if you can
Or
hear
it's
it.
the
Your
Hydrole.
mic is.
okay.
Oh, am I picking something up?
Yeah, now you
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Yep, you're good.
Very good.
All right.
All right, all right. Yeah, so I get that. Yeah, you gotta lock back in, man.
Yeah,
Lifting is so important. It's also
it's
so
time to
fun.
lock in.
Just like
Actually, speaking of like your best speed and timing, like other than working out and stuff, did that also tie into having your tapping technique more consistent at that time and like more
Wait.
stable?
Repeat that question.
Like, when you were at the times of your, I guess, quote unquote, best speed and stamina, were you like, did you have like a more consistent tapping technique? Because I remember you saying that it's like kind of, it like goes
Kind
back
of
and forth
off.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say in the short term, yeah. In the long term, though, I think I've noticed some pretty big deviations in my tapping technique. Some of them, I really haven't been able to pin some of it. Because one major thing about my technique is that my hands or my fingers do not stay still, and so
Mhm.
one of my biggest barriers in stamina is that my fingers will physically like miss the key,
Yep.
and I,
Oh my
you
gosh.
know,
I
I
get
do
it. I
that.
get it so
I
much.
do that. Yeah, I get you.
yeah, I physically miss the key, and at times, like my keypad, I have a keypad right now, but my keypad would literally will literally start moving away
Yep.
because of like because of my tapping, and it's just infuriating to try and work around.
I feel that. This is like why I have like a 3D printed holder, and then I have like a kitchen glove like underneath the holder to like keep it in the same spot. And it's got like a
My
super
God.
wide base, so when I like tap, it doesn't like rotate or anything. Yeah, it's crazy. But I
It's
still
nuts.
feel the
Wait.
difference. Like if I use my other hand to like keep the thing down, my tapping feels so much better.
I need a
amazing.
picture of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I need a picture of this.
Oh,
You don't
man.
understand. I need a
Yeah,
picture of this.
That's a
Yeah, dude,
nasty thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I
when I
get you,
used
but
to play
Insane.
with keypad, when I
hey,
used to play with keypad, I literally had to tape it down
you know how
to
I
my
frame
table.
things? Like I think I don't know what you would think of this, but like the way I frame everything, let's say in Osu, but like in real life as well, right? Like everything is like some kind of skill, right? So like tapping consistently, keeping your fingers on the keypad, like that's a grindable skill. Everything is a grindable skill, right? And maybe you didn't
Okay.
spend some time grinding it previously. It doesn't matter. Doing something related to that skill category will give you an improvement in that skill, and then over time you'll get better, and you just have to trust in that process. Like it doesn't matter if you have some kind of like a local sort of like downward spiral where you're like, oh no, it's doomed. Oh, it's Jover. Oh, we're Barak. Like it doesn't matter. Doing more of these things will improve you over time. Your baseline will shift up. So it's kind of like
Um,
you use your blind faith in the fact that you're improving to like not discourage you from playing it more, right?
Yeah.
So like you just need well I like doing this, but like finding other ways, like other metrics to kind of like laser on. Like recently it's been Osu skills, and I've just been like grinding the precision points on it because it's just like
Okay.
PP but
Yeah.
for precision, and I just find that so fun because it's like number go up, but like the side effect is that I'm playing a shitload of CS9 and I'm getting really consistent at CS9, and like
Yeah.
that's just me finding a way to like work with my mental in order to grind that skill, right? and
hmm
and like it's the same thing I think for your fingers like missing the keypad, right? It's like if you can formulate some way to be like, hey, what's going on that's like causing me to like fly off the keypad, and how can I minimize those moments? Maybe like the bare amount of analysis, don't let it paralyze you, but just like a little bit of analysis, and then just grinding on it, working on it, playing more maps that will cause you to do that, and then like trying your best not to do that. I don't know. That's just I don't know how you would think of that, but that's kind of like how I would try and frame that problem that you're having.
Yeah. I actually that's pretty valid. Honestly, like, at some point it gets so annoying to the point that I just gaslight myself and say it's a technical issue, which to some extent it has to be a technical issue.
Right.
At some point I feel like there has to be some sort of technical issue to it. I've noticed that my technique does get a lot better on keyboards, just with the unfortunate side effect that rapid trigger is OP, right? But,
Yep.
Fair enough.
oops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's so true. A rapid trigger actually like saves. I honestly think a rapid trigger was basically the best like thing for tapping to like be introduced to Osu. I
Oh,
don't think
yeah.
there's anything even close.
Alright.
Okay, I do actually, since like this is kind of tournament podcast and like your guest. I kind of wanted to send you like a thread that I saw today. I kind of wanted your thoughts on it. It's basically about Emrek talking about like ranked maps nowadays and how there's like no like
Oh.
people playing them.
Oh, I saw that.
Like and like Malashevsky's response. And like maybe you could take your time and read through it. Like it's pretty. It's a little long, but I think it's like worth kind of talking about. Because
Yeah.
obviously, we have someone who's quite good at tournaments, and honestly I think the solution to this entire issue of like ranked maps and like kind of the PP system being super ass is just tournaments itself. um
Mm.
as I said last episode, I think that like tournaments will become the main way of ranking in Osu. Obviously it's very very like not built yet, like Osu tracker and like these things are not built yet, SIP2. But I think tournaments will become, and like local lands will become so much more prevalent going forward.
Mm.
But I don't know. You can read and tell me your thoughts. In
Yeah.
the meantime, we'll
Yeah,
let you read.
well, I will read. I saw the actual original one from MREC, but yeah, now everything feels dead. But yeah, I think the unfortunate, yeah, I think the unfortunate thing with with CSR, with players like Emrek, Evoxa pushing like the actual physical limits of what can be done in the game. I think an unfortunate side effect is, well, yeah, that as Emrek's noticed, it's ranked maps nowadays, you know, just general maps that don't fit the meta or like the PP meta are just ignored. And as a tournament player, I think, um, honestly, as a tournament player, I kind of actually see this as a bit of a consequence of Osu's competitiveness sort of coming out to the greater world, right? Um, because if you think about a play like Cookie Z's 800, right? As Osu players, we can say definitively, oh, 800 PP, that 800 PP from Cookie Z, that's like definitely doable, right? And you see like remote control, those other maps back in like 2016, 2017, those were hard, those were groundbreaking, but those didn't seem like physically impossible, yeah?
Yeah, I would
Mm.
agree.
And even and so, and so at the time, at the time, or with that time, when you're a new player and you're thinking, oh wow, I should get into, oh wow, I want to do what they're doing, and you put on like the crazy double time maps that they're playing on Nomad, they're still doable, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the thing about mapping is that I think I've noticed a lot of like the 5 to 6 star range, those have always been pretty robust. That's always been a pretty robust range for difficulties, just because you can get insane diffs, you can get extra top diffs, right? You can fit everything in that range, right?
Yep.
Honestly, fair. Yeah.
Yeah, and so when you're new, and so when new players come in, they have this treasure trove of maps once they pass that initial, getting acclimated to the game phase, that they can just play. And for top players, you could DT those maps and you can get good scores in them, and everyone's playing those maps. The issue now is that because you don't need to FC, you can one miss an 8 star that's like 30 seconds long and get like a 500 out of it.
Hmm.
I see to it that and I've noticed this a lot as the PP metas become more prevalent in Osu, as the milestones get more insane, so do the lower ranked players and new players focus. That's just a thing that you see in a lot of video games, right?
Absolutely.
The lower ranked and newer players want to replicate what the pros are doing, right? You see it
Yeah.
in like literally any FPS game. You see it. You see people replicating TEN's crosshair in Valorant. You see people
Yep.
replicating, you know how it works.
For sure, yeah. No, as
And
someone who coached
yeah,
in Valorant for so long, yeah. Absolutely.
yeah,
It's true.
and I think Malashevsky says something really good about the need of rivalization, because ultimately, when you're that far up, or when you're just getting into something, you often need, there's a very rarely internal motivation to keep playing. I think you see this a lot when Emrek's the exception, at least one of the exceptions. But you see it when Matthew got number one. He pushed for a little bit, but externally people were trying to say he was a fraud. He's not, but Vaxay gets number one. He doesn't really push anymore. Cookie Z gets number one. He doesn't push for number one. He pushes crazy scores, but he never pushes for number one. And so when when you're, at that phase, you kind of just have to put bars up and go, yeah, I want to do that. And often that means doing better than other people, you know?
Yeah. Like you need something to like chase almost to
Right.
like some kind of goal, and other people, because they're like living breathing people that will improve, like it's they're good goals to set relative to other people, right? I get it.
But I
Right. And
think those goals are what makes like the improvement so much faster for Osu players.
Mhm.
Like at this time.
it
Like it's just so fast. Like there's players who are like, hopping on, they're putting in their 1,000 hours in a year, like easily, and then they're hitting like, 4-digit, 3-digit.
Right, right. But I think that's in and of itself a consequence of the PP system as well. Because remember, the PP system incentivizes star rating. It incentivizes your skill cap, right? Because your PP plays are the highest star maps they can play the most. It doesn't test your consistency, and so I think a thing about the improvement is that what you see with a lot of players, and actually you think about Flying Tuna, right? He was only an aim player at the start of his career. He hit top 50, being known as an aim one trick. But when you're at that skill cap, and it's been something that's people talk a lot on Clicker's Choice multiple years, 2019, 2020, 2021, they state Flying Tuna going out of his way to stamp out his speed, to learn tech, to learn reading.
Yep.
And when you start off by getting that mechanic skill cap, everything else sort of trickles down from there. And that's kind of why you see a lot of those, and that's why, you see some, not all, some aim one tricks sort of when they branch onto tournaments, they find immense success very fast. And I want to come back to the tweet, honestly. I actually think that the tournament scene in and of itself plays maybe a smaller role, but definitely a prevalent one in keeping in why the rank section stays kind of empty. And
really,
yeah, I think because top players, right? Top players really, they're the ones influencing the sort of the newer people, the lower ranked players, right?
Right.
But oftentimes when you get far enough into OSU, when you're into that, at this point now, it's like even the low 5-digit range, and onwards.
Right.
The incentive, I think, what often happens, other than a lot of people sort of stick into popular maps or slop maps. If you're not in that subsection, chances are you are jumping into tournaments. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
It's you. I think you can kind of see it. I think, and I think, the tourney scene. Oh, rip.
Sorry.
Shade.
Yeah.
Shade got
Shade
ganked.
had to go. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
It's okay. He said he had an hour and 30 minutes. I think it just got a little cut short, but it's okay.
That's okay.
All
That's
good.
okay. But yeah, I think that once you get past that, that low 5-digit range, the prevalence of the tourney scene explodes relative to the player base population. It like exponentially increases, and so the amount of people at that high range who are playing tourney maps, and the way tourneys are with with map pools, with slot pooling, and it honestly, it doesn't really incentivize the newer ranked maps. Often the new maps you see are customs, right? And custom, and without talking about that aspect of tournaments, I could definitely talk about it later. Without talking about that, when there's just no sort of generation from within the community to really grind or to really sort of play those newer maps, to sort of feel them out, unless you again have that external motivation of completionism, of score, of leaderboards. So it's just a deviation of OSU's it's just a deviation of what the general OSU player base wants out of the game. And that's just
fair.
the nature of it being more competitive, right?
I have like a mini sort of add-on to this as well, where like we've been thinking about this from sort of like a player perspective, but like the mappers are also sort of like a subsection of like how the community like sees this problem, right? Like if the mappers are just mapping stuff that people don't want to play, then the mappers have to get their stuff together and map stuff that will get played, right? And part of that is like the incentive structure of like, does like obviously PP devs are part of this as well, but if mappers like are motivated by sort of like a passion project, then they should map that. If they're motivated by sort of, oh, what are players going to farm for PP, to get me more plays, then I should map that, right? And maybe we're just in a point right now where they're like, we want more plays, we're trying to make more PP maps, but nobody's playing them. What's wrong? And then there's sort of a correction period where they go, okay, well, this is what the community thinks. This is why we're not getting any top players. And the problem just kind of fixes itself because the community is so tightly integrated and everybody's sort of communicating with each other like constantly, right?
Yeah.
And to me, I don't think this is that big of a deal, but you know, I think only time will really tell.
Yeah, I mean, I think what makes it kind of like a big deal to me is the fact that so many players have been like kind of fed this idea that they need to like, push skill cap and they need to like, they need to reach rank 1 or to rank up and I feel like the PP system itself is just anti-fun in a way. Like for some people it's fun, but also like I feel for a lot of people it's so demotivating.
Yep.
Because the fun about it is competition when like in reality competition sometimes can be like I feel like one of the I think Osu is supposed to be a solo game and it's supposed to be like in itself it's supposed to be a game where you're like kind of competing with yourself to see your own improvement. And obviously like as a tournament player I shouldn't say that like competitiveness is like inherently a bad thing or whatever, but I think it kind of removes the option of having less competitiveness and just like focusing on yourself and your own improvement. And that's why I think it's a problem, because if we're not at least giving the option of being able to like see your own improvement and like not tying it to this rank and PP system, I think it kind of makes the game very unfun for a lot of people to play.
This is like a thing in general though. This is the issue of creating a metric, right? Any sort of performance metrics will sort of lead to this problem, and it's just you as a player have to figure out like how to work around that to keep a good mental. Like I think
Agreed.
no matter what, if you put numbers to things, like you will have some variant of this problem.
No, true. I just think it's really highly pronounced now because of the aim slop stuff.
I see,
you know what I'm saying?
Just the way the PP system is rewarding play. I get you. I understand.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, that it does just happen to come out that way.
Okay.
It's kind of like something that like a lot of players that I know are dealing with. Like the aim slop.
Yeah.
I've always hated CSR, man,
conundrum.
because I've always loved combo gaming like so much.
Yeah, CSR just felt to me like it did not feel like a rework that should have happened, but also like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of players really love it because they were able to push the game so much. And honestly, like I think pushing the game might like be more important in a way, because if CSR didn't happen when it happened, maybe the game wouldn't reach where it is right now.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not sure. I haven't thought about
Maybe.
that.
True. I mean, I'm kind of just like thinking about it as I go along.
Yeah.
I guess okay. Hydrole, because I am kind of like very curious about this. How do you make time for tournaments and OSU? Because I swear when I'm like locked in on school, I have zero time and I have no motivation to play OSU.
Oh well, it honestly it all comes down to the fact that I really do like this game. I like this community, and so I'm willing to set things aside for this game. Obvious, and I think I come back to that idea at like being a student, like not being a high school student, a comparatively or a relatively competitive high school student academically. You have to use your time really wisely, and so without having to get into the whole thing of turning this into a life advice podcast, it
Honestly,
comes
life advice would be kind of fire.
true. But yeah, it just comes down to prioritizing and then managing your time wisely from there. And again, I'm not the best at that because I really like this game, and then I accidentally go overboard with it sometimes.
Real.
But if it's something that you like so much, then you're going to inevitably find a way to make it happen, right?
I agree.
That's how a lot of things are.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I get you. Like, I never thought in my 4th year of university, I'm very old. Like, I took on so much, and like, if you were to ask me before that year, like, if I could have or not, I would have said like, there's no way anybody can fit that much time like in the day. Like, I was working on a startup. I had like 4 technical electives plus like another technical elective in place of my like non-technical, and then like
Dang.
I had like a whole bunch of other stuff going on. I had a girlfriend at the time. Like, there was just like everything that just like sucked up a ton of time. Like, I had it. Like, it was so bad. And if you ask me how I did it, like, I didn't. It's just the necessity of it caused me to lock in, and then I just did it.
Yeah, that's often the thing that happens, right? You just do it because it has to be done,
Exactly.
right? You do
Yeah.
something. The question often when you're doing something, especially if it's like something like this, where it's just for the love of the game. It's not really a question of, wow, how do you do all this? It's like it's just done.
Yeah.
You make it work.
Like, that's not something you take away from your
Yeah.
life. It's there, and you have to work with it being there. Yeah, I feel you.
Okay, this
Yeah.
is kind of related. Me and Dragon talked about this once.
Probably.
How do you like schedule?
Oh God.
Yeah.
How do you schedule? Well, I forget who said this once, but I think the best way to schedule is quite literally to just schedule for yourself. And so, I know relatively what my things are, or sorry, what my availability is on any given weekend. And so, you just have to adjust accordingly. And I think the number one thing for scheduling, once you figure out when you're actually available, is one, be early in asking, and two, schedule for yourself. I heard it from someone. If you're like, especially if you're on a team, if you're not scheduling to your benefit, you are actively acting against yourself. You are actively throwing. It's something that I try to follow a lot. Especially when you have to deal with those teams who somehow have players on every continent.
Oh God.
I've
Yep.
had a team, dude. I've had a team with I think American, European. Sorry.
This part will be really easy to find in post. Don't worry.
Yes. Wait, are you doing something?
No, no, no. I'm just saying there's gonna be a big flat section, and you just cut that right out. It's easy as fuck.
Yup. Dude, why is everyone playing Uma Musume? I don't get it.
Don't
It's
know.
like
Dude, there's so many people. My entire Twitter feed is just filled up with fucking people playing
Everyone's
this
addicted to Uma. That's why.
thing. Yeah. It came out of
Dude,
nowhere.
Hydrole's just been sorry, not Hydrole.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Hexagon has been playing it like
I don't
every
think
single time
Hexagon's
we
gotten
see
off
it.
it.
It's
But
so
anyways.
bad.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep, sorry. So you said America, Europe, and
Yeah. So America, Europe, and America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. They
Oh
had a guy
my-
from New Zealand.
what?
Can you imagine the scheduling on
Oh
that?
my
Can
goodness.
you
That must have
imagine?
been hell.
That was terrible. And yeah,
Someone
I
takes an L.
mean, yeah, someone has to take the L. And obviously, if you're us, you just say, okay, we're going for like 16 UTC.
Yeah.
But that's an extreme case. But the key to it always is to put yourself first, because if you can put yourself first, right? Oftentimes it does work out better for you, and if it doesn't work, they people are people are still people. They're still willing to work with that, to work around that.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, you have to advocate
Yeah.
for yourself for sure.
This makes
Yeah.
sense.
yeah,
Because I know, like, for you, you have a lot of matches at times, and like weekends get very busy for you. So it's like,
right.
you know, the kind of like trying your best to keep your schedule, like, I guess, manageable in a way is a good skill.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's a good skill. One of those other things that comes around, Um,
Hmm.
those other things that comes around is like actually keeping the time up for it. Again, it just you learn to do it because of necessity. I'm doing this for the love of the game, so I'm gonna find a way to make it work.
Yep.
Right. No, I
Yeah.
agree.
hmm
Dragon, do you have anything to add?
Uh, wow. I'd say not really right now.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Shade had a question. So what is your take on the quintessential 5-digit and tournament player buzzword, D rankers,
Oh.
and like making it hard for new players to get into things and the future of tournaments in general?
Ooh, okay. Well, I think there's a lot of ways I can go with this. I think first I'll handle it through the player's perspective though, because unfortunately, many people say, or as many Osues would say, or just people in general, I am a part of the problem. Yeah. Maybe
Yep.
not in 5-digit anymore, but I think if there's one buzzword that I've been called time after time again, it is D ranker. And at
Yep.
this point, I can't explicitly deny it as much as I say, no, I'm bad. I can't. I definitely am decaying with, like, not with the purpose of trying to farm badges, but I just don't want to farm. I kind of want, I just don't want to. And so, when you're in 5-digit and that D ranker word definitely has a lot of, it's a negative connotation to it. And as for what it does to newer players, I what I see often with the players who complain the most about this sort of D ranker, these D rankers, and I personally find that type of major sandbagging. I think it is a problem for sure. I think it's definitely a sort of thing that it kind of like sullies the tournament scene, for the 5 and 6 digit range. But when you're in 5-digit and you're complaining about all these 5-digit D rankers, genuinely, what I have to say, get better. Literally,
No,
stop.
agreed.
Literally, I get it. I've complained to hell and back about these D rankers in my lobby. I think the harsh truth is just that, right? People are not. It's that things aren't going to like necessarily change. We've seen efforts like ETX with skill issue, with SIP, with OTR now in the works to remedy this problem. But the fact of the matter is, there's never going to be a concrete way to there's never going to be a concrete way to just remove the D rankers entirely. And so
Yeah.
I think it's on the turn. I think to some extent, especially in the 6-digit range, it's on the tournament, it's on the community and the hosts and the staff to create a scene that is open to new players, especially when you're in a range like 6-digit, where you can have people setting 400s versus people who are still struggling to set 100s, 150s. And with like 5-digit, which is where most people find their first tournament experience, I think there is a responsibility to mitigate to mitigate D rankers as much as possible.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
in my eyes, that kind of comes down to not pushing the skill cap so much. I've seen, like, you've seen 5 WC, right? And
Yeah.
5 USC. The star ranges have barely changed in the past, I'd say, the past 3 years. We've gone from 6.9 to 7 again, pushing 7.1. 5 USC, you see the same thing. It's been a constant 6.8 for 3 years straight now.
Yeah, and I
Well,
mean,
maybe one.
but okay, and like here's the thing, right? I
Uh,
think that I don't know, like as being a like someone who's trying to like be good at these like rank like at these like star ratings,
Mhm.
it's honestly like really hard to be a player who's like barely playing 6 stars and then be expected to like face people who are just like quintessentially gonna destroy you on 6.8 no matter what you do, you know and or
right.
like that trickles down to like 6 stars as well. So I
Hmm.
don't, but also like not pushing the skill cap, I feel like makes it so the players, the quote unquote D rankers, are going to feel less like inclined to actually like play tournaments. You know, um, and
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing.
Well, one thing you also have to consider about that idea of wait, what if people don't want to play the game is that, to be honest, quite literally just by nature of the size of the player base, 5-digit tournaments are the ones who gain the most traction. This isn't just in terms of player
Yep.
count, it's in terms of rewards as well. 5USC brought in $2,000 last year solely as a prize pool. Extra donation, there were extra donations. Things were going, they were paying out, they were paying out staff like it was a part-time gig. And to be honest, and with the effort you put in these sort of tournaments, it definitely is a sort of, it definitely is a commitment.
Yeah,
So
they're
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
bag on them for that, but ultimately the best way I think to sort of incentivize them moving up is to find, and this is I speak as if I'm in a perfect world, which we are definitely not, because people are realistic and we live in a society, and people have this stuff to deal with. But I think making a scene, a tourney scene where the higher end tournaments get that same amount of care and and incentive in terms of prize pools and rewards, as such as like high, or as like 5-digit tournaments. I think that's the biggest thing. um
Hmm.
that would be an incredibly big thing for people to move up if you
Yeah.
can,
Hmm.
because we've always talked about, oh, it's the same people that play against each other in 5-digit. It's the same people who do this, do that. And honestly, now that you have things like SIP, you have things like OTR, things that are external factors other than than prize pools or just straight competition. And now, like, the tourney scene when I used to be there was dominated by the same 10 people.
Yeah.
You heard names like, this is gonna be really old, but you hear names like Russian Vaxei, you hear
Oh my
names like
god.
yeah, you hear names like Jellium, like Hisoy, who's the guy? Like Azurium, like Maxi. When these guys kind of came through 5-digit, like Zeph, like ex Kirito, like when these guys are
Kirito.
playing, these guys are unequivocally the best players in the range. Oh, these guys can set 700s. They should be, in like 4-digit. I think we are miles past that point in terms of the Osu scene. Like, I'm gonna be honest. We have gone a far ways. And some of it might be my inexperience in the range, but I could not name to you at least at the very moment, a active player who could predictably sweep any 5-digit tournament given the scene right now.
Hmm.
I could not give you a player who could do that.
That's fair. I think BWS over time does do some work for that kind of thing.
Right. Well, BWS will naturally do that,
Yeah.
and there's always going to be players like 3B do who just
Oh yeah, who just come
decide,
back down.
yeah.
Yeah, and just don't get badges.
Now, shout out to that guy for being 5-digit as of the past month. That's normal. That's regular.
Yeah.
Um,
Shout out to Yoshi Lover, by the way. That's a shout out I would like to give.
Yoshi lover, the
Um,
goat.
no, like I love Yoshi Lover. Yoshi Lover is awesome. But like it's kind of nuts that he's in 5-digit and he was able to play 5 USC.
I actually
Um,
didn't know he was in 5-digit. Like I just assumed he was 4-digit when I played
well, he's
HFH.
4-digit now.
Oh, okay, okay.
Thank goodness because he just got a badge. Well, he didn't
Oh,
get it
did
yet.
he?
Yeah, he
Wow.
did. He won uh Hubba's hidden.
Oh, he won Hubbas? Okay,
Yeah,
Well,
that's
that's
killer.
Encore.
that's where I like encountered like him, and I assumed he was 4 digit then. Like I thought he was like 4K or something. Like
But
based on
Yeah.
what
he
everyone
just
was
has
talking about.
5 badges.
Yeah.
He just has 5 badges.
Yeah, I mean, they're all from back in the day. Like the range was fundamentally different back then.
So they don't count
you know,
badges like earlier than like a certain date, right? It's like 2022
21 or
something.
22.
Yeah.
Usually the dates usually to 21.
Okay.
So yeah.
It's so interesting. And I mean, like,
Yeah.
even now he's playing these tournaments and absolutely crushing it. So it's awesome.
Yeah. And so, that's the whole thing about, that's the whole D ranker rank handle. But in terms of the future of tournaments, well, okay. In terms of players, in terms of like players, I think I think the 6 digit scene I think the 6 digit scene will sort of become a microcosm of what the 5 digit scene is, where these guys who should clearly be on like 5WCA teams are sort of just sandbagging in the range for God knows why. I mean,
Because there's no
no shade
badges.
to, I mean, yeah, no shade to Jackie, but Jackie
Jackie?
100%. Jackie 100% was just sandbagging in 6 digit. That guy had no reason to be there.
He's
Like, I
just
hate to
trolling.
say it.
Yeah.
He was
He's
just, yeah.
20K now, I think.
He's like 20K, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Canadians always have that one guy who drag in who are like dragging in the 50K range or 6 digit.
Hey.
No shade to them though. I'm sure they're cool people. Jolly Ranchers is cool.
Jolly Ranchers. I don't know if he plays the game anymore.
He doesn't really play the game anymore. He was like sitting 50K for a really long time, I think, back in the day. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, we have some like real like crazy people that are just kind of sleeping on the game right now. Like
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what 5WC and stuff's gonna look like in the next couple of years. Like, just feels volatile.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it feels volatile. I think, if I'm gonna be honest though, I actually think that we're nearing the peak of 5W. We're nearing the peak of like what 5WC will scale to, and
Mm.
it's been sort of this slow ascent. But I've noticed, I personally feel like last year's roster was honestly just stronger, like across the board. I
Yeah.
think last year's rosters were just stronger than this year's, and I think that says a lot. I think about what is happening to the range. We're sort of seeing the playing field even out now, and this talk of having a major D ranker is just not as present anymore. And I talked about it in that regard, but for the future of like 5 digit, I think we're getting close to the peak without having to go, okay, well, we're at the skill cap point again. Time for the D rankers to win every tournament. And I think that's ultimately going to be great for the tournament scene.
I agree. Yeah, I think 5K to 50K is sort of a range that's picking up in popularity, and that's encouraging people to get 4 digit, and then play in 4 digit and open rank in general.
Yeah, shout out to the last 5K tournament, or shout out to no 5K 1v1s existing. That is a dead thing. That's never happening.
5K.
But anyways, I digress.
Yeah.
And I would say though, one thing I would say about the future, I think that in general, I think tournaments are getting a lot. I think they're getting a lot more sort of robust, a lot more. They're getting really good in terms of not just like player base, but in quality. I
Agreed.
think of hold up. Let me think. Let me find some of the latest. Let me find some tournament. Let me see if I can find a few tournaments. That really.
Well, also on the other side of that, I feel like there's tournaments that have been very bad in quality, and like, I think I mean, I don't know if I want to name names, but some of them, a little bit interesting. I think like Hubba's hidden whatever Encore.
Yeah.
The hidden the free mod one hidden easy requirement.
That was a
I
bit
think that
nuts.
pissed off a lot of people. Because in grand finals it was,
Coughing
there
baby.
was it was so insane, and it's like a 7.1 star extremely dense map, and you're forcing them to put on hidden easy. Yeah, it's just nuts.
I think people
It's
just
like,
don't like what breaks from the format, because for me, when I see it, like I do play a lot of like easy hidden. I don't scale. I didn't even scale into like the very first round for easy hidden, like on the free mods anyway, because that shit's just
Yeah.
hard, right? Like it's just impossible. But the
Mhm.
thing is, it kind of got me thinking, interestingly, because we had Yonho. I don't know if you know Yonho. He's like,
Yonho, that's not a name I would know off the top of my head.
yeah, he's like a ridiculous easy player, and like he could play easy hidden pretty well, even though he didn't main it. And the question was, okay, well, do I take tank the easy hidden on the free mod, or does he do it and set like a decent score, right? And the question, and it was down to like a consistency question. Like, if you can FC it, then yeah, he's in for it because it's got a good multiplier and like he'll get a good score, and then we'd have 4 scores effectively, right? But if Yonho is getting like 200k and it's like a 2x or 2.5x multiplier or something like that, that might not be a good enough score than if we don't have a third, right? Versus me just like tanking it, getting completely cooked, but still getting like 100k or something, and then Yonho just FCing it normally, right? Like,
yeah, no.
Right.
it brings up some additional interesting questions to consider when you're doing your rosters. And I think it's just a bad reaction to not having expected to have questions like that being posed. Right? It's always like when you're expecting something and then you have that expectation violated, that's where the frustration comes from. And like if you're
Yeah.
not explicit with communicating what your expectations for the tournament are, then
Mhm.
people won't react well, right? Like one
Mhm.
another example was Ultra Gimmick Cup too. I don't know if you were in that, but
No.
it's
No, but
called Ultra Gimmick Cup, and then the quals was like a normal slot pool, and then like the amount of gimmick increased as the pools went on, which to me is silly because the point of a quals is to like determine the seeding, and the seeding's going to be based on your performance, based on basically who would win, right?
Mhm.
And it's like if you're good at a regular slot pool, but you're like not good at gimmick maps, then you would seed high. And to me, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Everything should have a pretty similar composition in terms of like what people would be good at. And like I think it being called Ultra Gimmick Cup also was like frustrating because you expect the whole thing to be gimmick. Like Speed Cup, everything is speed. Ultra Gimmick Cup, like
Yeah.
every map, maybe like 90% of maps should be gimmick. That was my take on it, but I know there were like a lot of different other takes like that. But yeah, it's all about controlling your expectations and just like making sure that people know what they're getting into when they sign up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I went on a bit of a rant there.
No, you're good, man. Rants are always appreciated, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I I think that the expansion of tournaments to include these sorts of gimmicks, so I think it's an indicator that the tourney scene has grown enough that you don't necessarily need the full tourney community to run these types of tournaments anymore. I'm incredibly excited for the route for the production quality one
Yes.
uh of tournaments. Because if you like look at a lot of recent tournaments, you'll see the website if you look in the chat. There's a few tournaments in particular: the Cookie Run tournament, and
Yeah.
what's the one named, and Project Prism, which was a
Oh,
which was like an Osu Taiko tournament, primarily run by Osu Malaysia. If you look at the stuff for these
it
tournaments,
was
the
so
production
cool.
quality,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
the production quality is honestly it is incredible on these types of tournaments, and more than the popularity, more than the competition, I think the production quality that we're seeing from these community tournaments is ultimately going to start eclipsing the official stuff in the near future, and I'm incredibly excited for that.
That's really good.
Yeah, I like you. There is in terms of creativity in the OSU tournament scene, you see that primarily towards customs, custom maps, custom songs, and obviously the production quality of the graphics and such.
Yeah.
But I think that there is so much potential to tap into a tournament experience, to novel tournament experiences that are really going to resonate with the players, not just because of the gameplay, but because they become interactive. You've seen these raid battle formats that these two provide.
Yep.
They are, and you see the sort of, and like for Project Prism, there are these sort of like videos you can unlock, or that you could unlock. There's this sort of small part of lore behind the tournament, and that sort of interactivity is, I think, going to extend into more and more community tournaments. Not a lot, but more tournaments, and I'm incredibly excited to see what people are able to pull off creatively.
Me too, man.
Dude, and I'm like, and I see like, honestly, like no glaze, but Starlight second is, I think, also like
Yeah.
Starlight second. Honestly, like I've had a lot of fun like looking through the pools, and like I think like that tournament, like kind of the aesthetic behind it, like really calls to me.
Mhm.
It's honestly really cool to see it like kind of blossom, and like the kind of effort that's going behind it. I mean, like you're always like whenever I see you in call like talking to hacks, it's always like about the pools or like about refing and like picking up all these matches, and it's honestly like really cool. So yeah,
Right.
I
Yeah.
find it pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I have to sort of like talk about it a little bit. Starlet Second it's my personal invitational tournament. I'll call it a semi-invitational. It's a sort of semi-invitational that I sent out to, to a good chunk of OSU servers. And it's a 1v1. There's 80 players. And the unconventional, and I guess the sort of new ground with this tournament is that there is an actual underlying story to everything, and that story actually will influence the gameplay. We're still in the group stages in stage 1 so far, so I don't want to spoil anything, but there are many things planned. We've already made videos, got custom maps. We've got people voice acting, editing out VN style videos. It's an all hands on deck. It's a fully like you are writing the story as it plays out, essentially.
That's incredible. It's like a big D&D type
So
of campaign, almost like a.
yeah, and with the early stages, not so much. It's kind of hard because you're kind of more focused on getting the actual gameplay out. But I'm very excited to see how the rest of the story will blossom, and see it as it is literally written by the matches. It's gonna be great.
Wait, that's actually kind of nuts. Like, holy, yeah.
Holy.
Okay, I'm so excited. I'm actually so excited. Hopefully I can make it past the next round. That'd be nice. um,
Well, you know what you have to
but
do. You better lock in.
practice. Yeah,
Lock in.
I will. Alrighty. I guess second to last question. And then you'll get time to like shout out anything you want to shout out, and then
Yeah.
and then we'll give you a good night. Good night's rest.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like any recent achievements that you have?
Well, I mean, I got second place in the Gleek the Glaciality AP pick. No,
Oh no! Wait,
no,
that's actually fire.
I
Wait,
did.
okay, I saw it. I think my
Yeah,
I think my freaking my Google form didn't submit. I'm actually sad about that.
GG. That's
Yeah,
unlucky.
all good. It's okay.
Yeah, but in terms of OSU type achievements, I mean honestly, I think the biggest success I've had recently is Starlit Second going as well as it has. You know, the biggest issues haven't been tournament breaking ones. We've been able to get things out we've been able to get things out in an orderly fashion. All that as a a new host, that's honestly been a great success for me. But as a player, honestly, I actually do have some, yeah. So some of the more recent tournaments I've played, I've had some good finishes in so for some 5Ks, we've got I got top I got top 4 in D&B Enjoyers Cup. That was with Nushi, Acer, Emerald Ages, and Nushi, Acer, Emerald Ages, and blah, 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 blah. I forget if that was a 4-player team, but I know it wasn't. Oh, Jazz and Iliad. It was a 3v3. Yeah.
Yep.
So that was a
6
very fun
players. Yep.
experience. Yep. Back in February or March, February I got top 2 in Super Sigma Cup with Nushi, Acer, Emerald. Really sad that I couldn't get them the badge, but it was a hard fight. It was a fun tournament. I've had third in Noodle Cup. That was I believe a 2K tournament. Played that with I think it was Miki, Gilgamesh, Zucchini, Lirumin, and Onkar.
Oh my.
So another pretty stacked roster of 4-digit players, if I had to say so. Still managed to pull some weight, which was pretty awesome.
Absolutely goated.
And then I think in a 1v1 scenario, I think my most notable 1v1 performance yet has been Calvitational. If you
Yes.
know, that is Ben's invitational tournament. Calbo Invitational 2 was a sort of international edition where they grabbed one player from a lot of one really notable player in the 4-digit scene from a lot of countries, and they 1v1 invitational bracket. You know how the story goes. I placed 4th. I only lost to Call Me Red and Dever, who went
Oh
on
my
to get,
goodness.
I believe, 2nd and 3rd in the tournament. I
Goodness.
won against a crazy list of people. Or I won against some pretty nutty people. I won
Yeah.
against Taney. I won against Hollow Knees pretty decisively. That was like 6-1, I think.
Wow.
I won against Stella as well.
Yeah.
Stella Sue, incredible. That was just a really good match for me, I think.
I watched it.
But yeah,
I watched it.
it was a but those are just some of my performances. I mean, more notable ones, I guess. Placing around top 15 in 4 WC tryouts.
Dang.
Is another pretty good one. But yeah, honestly, I've had a pretty good tournament run this year. I I've been
Yep.
I've been like, I guess except for June tournament, because I did FF that one, or out of the bracket on that one. I've had a really good record this year, honestly.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I
that's
would agree. I
insane.
think that
Yeah.
you've done some insane things this year. And like low key, that GIF, or that picture that Stella always puts up when she faces you, which is like when you're against Hydrole, 99% faith, a 1% chance.
God, you have no idea. I woke up to the Winner Circle seed reveal. I saw, oh, I'm 24th seed, and it inches closer and closer to we're at like the top 15 now, and I'm thinking, am I actually facing Stella again? And I was
Oh,
like, oh my God, oh, that was gonna be an absolute train wreck if it happened. But
who
no,
are you
didn't
facing?
happen. I faced Indiana first round,
Oh,
which I'm gonna be honest, that might actually go my way, just because of it being like just because I can probably out gimmick him. I can out like not I don't make out mechanics him, but
I
I
mean,
can probably grab a lot of it.
you have the chance to out
Yeah.
mechanics him, I think.
On a
He's very
7-star
consistent.
pool, yeah. It's a lot harder for him to out gimmick me than it is for me to out mechanic him, basically.
Yeah. But it's still
Yeah.
possible.
That's good.
So,
Yeah, it's still possible.
yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to watching your performance. I think Winter Circle is gonna be kind of insane this year.
Alright,
I
thank
think it
you.
was insane last year too. Gilgamesh played. I think who
Hexagon
else?
played.
Yeah, Hexagon
Oh
played.
my goodness.
Yeah.
I was in Hexagon's quals lobby, and that guy kind of did some insane things.
Boom, boom. Yeah. Pretty big stuff for sure.
Yeah. So you got one more question, I guess?
Yeah, one more, I think.
Hi, sorry. I got ganked by my parents, so it's kind of just unfortunate. So this is just Hydrole and Dragon talking for a second.
Yeah, damn, like you're an insane player, man. Like you're at the point where like I don't keep track of because it's like out of like my sphere of relevance, you know what I mean?
That's something, all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm ranked. I'm ranked 6.7K. You're closer to me than I am to Malashevsky.
That's
You know.
true. Actually, there's the funny thing. Do you know Speed Cup 6?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me and like
I,
three other 5 digits just kind of like signed up to troll, and then apparently ETX says I did better than Malashevsky at one of the maps. I do not think he was trying, but
boom.
that's really funny because if you show my like ETX stats versus Malashevsky, I somehow have like free mod wins, which is like stupid. Yeah.
God knows how that happens, but I'm not. Not putting any. Not gonna complain about that
No,
ever.
yeah, well,
Win is a win.
it's one of those
Yeah.
really, really silly things that like probably should not have happened, but it's there, so you can point to it and laugh.
Yeah. Gwee hee 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 hee, bro. Gwee.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that ends up on a GIF that people start sharing around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh yeah. Allo is deafened, by the way, so he just got ganked. It's over. It's
Yeah.
the end.
Well, if he kind of calls it and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna have to like do like we might have like we can schedule in like a random like 20-30 minute slot just to kind of like wrap up and kind of get your final thoughts and everything if things don't
Yep.
quite work out." But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're not super time constrained, we can kind of chill a little bit longer and see what happens. But
It's true. Yeah.
Mm.
It'll be chiller.
Alrighty. Okay, I guess just close out like my last question for you is like, is there any people that you like look up to and like that you like want to shout out for the, tournament and for whoever watches this, the tournament community and like anyone else?
Anything? I guess I can just say anything.
Pretty
Basically.
much.
Yeah. Well, one. Uh, if you're, if you're not already an experienced tournament, or even if you are an experienced tourney playing, you kind of just like dip your toes. You're just like in it to play. I'd highly encourage you to seek out servers, to seek out people, seek out communities. I've found the most random opportunities pop up through this game. I have had some incredible connections. I've been able to meet some awesome people, and I think that if you are solely in this sort of for the benefit of your own ego, you are doing yourself a disservice. This game has so much to offer when you
Yeah.
come to the people. The people here have so much to offer. Incredibly creative, incredibly nice people, and like you know, you know, always go out to do always like make like always go out of your way to talk to people. I think the game it's a solo game, when you're in it's a solo game when you're holding the tablet, you're holding the mouse, but this game, this is a community-based game for a reason. The community makes the game what it really is, and I'm very happy that that there are subsections that I found subsections of this community that you can sort of find some home in. It's great.
absolutely.
It's great.
I think, yeah, connections wise, like the only reason why I passed math this year is because of cytosine.
Oh
So,
my god.
no,
Yeah.
like
That's
absolutely.
God.
I would have like F's in that class if not for cytosine. Shout out to cytosine.
Dude, I want to take part in some math conversations. I love math.
Wait, me too. Hydrole 3. Is this true?
Hmm.
Nope, doesn't like math.
Hmm.
Okay, my
I
bad.
know, I do like math. I'm kidding. Go math! Boom!
Let's go.
Yeah.
And like cut paper likes math too. It's so awesome. There's just like so many people that like math in like even just like the Canadian servers. Awesome.
Wait, that's nuts.
Dude, we stayed up. Okay, me and like three other guys. You know, there's like that Roblox math thing. One of my friends was just playing it on
Math
stream.
difficulty, Abby.
Yeah, it's like this quiz where there's like all these like I don't play Roblox. I just watched him stream it. There's like these
Okay.
walls, and then you walk into it, and it like gives you a math question, and you gotta like answer it. And there's
Oh my
like
god.
there's like a ton of these questions, and then like I think we were playing it from like 2 a.m. all the way to like 10 a.m. Like we just spent 8 hours locking in the VC, four of us, just like doing math. We all ended up like hitting it with like different approaches. Like the guy who was playing it didn't actually like scale that far into math, so he's just like guessing random answers, and he'd get it like 30-40% of the time. And then like there's like me like trying to work it out, but like my brain was fried because I'd been up for so long. So I was like discussing my like strategy of how to tackle the problem, and then we had like another guy that would like take what I was saying and be like, oh yeah, and he'd be able to compute it quickly, and then we had another guy doing his own, like it was just so sick. And we just did this for like 8 hours,
Great.
and we got through all of it. Like it was incredible. It was one of the best
Nuts.
experiences ever. Like oh
I mean, yeah, the OC community is so awesome.
yeah, it's just Osu made this happen. Like what?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep.
good.
Alrighty. I guess the shout out,
Oh yeah.
I think the shout out goes to Starlit Second. Amazing tournament. You should definitely like tune in if you are watching the podcast.
Yeah.
Other than that,
I
yeah,
guess
yeah,
I
no, you
guess
got
I
that.
have to shout it now. Yeah. If you've listened up to this point, I would be incredibly grateful if you kept up with Starlit Second. Our Twitch is twitch.tv slash no spaces, no capitals, Starlit Second. That's star LIT second. And otherwise, I guess, I don't really stream anymore, but twitch.tv slash Hydrole. Otherwise, I think you can find a lot of our videos for Starlit Second on a YouTube channel called Silly Land. Otherwise, just search up Starlit Second Osu, and I'm sure it'll pop up.
Awesome.
For sure.
Yeah. It's,
Alrighty.
Other than
Thank
that-
you. Thank you,
Thank
first
you.
of all, Hydrol,
Yeah.
for like
Yeah.
coming on.
oh, yeah, of course, and thank you guys for doing this. By the way, thank you guys for hosting this. I am incredibly happy that I got to be here, and I'm glad that I was able to. I was glad I was able to talk so much about how I feel about the community, and I'm like just very optimistic. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
Of
you for being
course.
here. Like incredible guest. Like holy cow, dude. The
Yep.
things you were saying, I'm just like, oh my god. Like I cannot fathom like achieving that. Like, whew.
And I mean, like, I think you've achieved what a lot of us tournament players really want, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that consistency, that all-roundedness, and just being like a player, but also like I think as a person, you know, you're very inspirational. So I mean, keep at it, you know.
That is a very deep compliment. Actually, I'm honored. Thank you.
Don't worry about
Yeah.
it, man.
I know.
Um,
I'm very happy to see this, and I really do hope that that you're able to get more people, and that this just blows up.
I hope so too, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Yeah. I guess that's it. If we want to record like an ending or intro or whatever, like it's
Yeah.
chill.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you,
Thank you.
Hydrol.
Yeah.
Sorry
you.
for
Yeah.
the holy scuff.
No, it happens.
It happens though.
No, yeah, it happens. It's all good.
Yeah. My mom got angry because apparently I had an email from an internship and I just didn't look at it because I was busy bringing my cousins to the airport and stuff. So I didn't
Ew.
see it until tonight, and then I had this scheduled for tonight, and I didn't want to like really disturb it and look at that.
Mhm.
But apparently I kind of have to look at the job situation.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well,
No, it's fair. It's fair. I get it. So yeah.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
good luck on the job, Hydrole.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And good luck on like, school. Uh I think that you got like a lot of stuff to do, but I think that you
Yeah.
got that.
I think I got that. I'm definitely gonna try to sort of hone in on it more now that the time's come. The time's come for that.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh,
Nope. Well, you're not recording.
oh.
I'm recording.
Okay.
All right. Are we off the mic now?
Yeah.